ATP, what it do with your boy Clay? More rain back at you guys with another one. Shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you for the support. Channel is moving along quite well. Appreciate you guys. If this is your first time tapping into this content, I am going to invite you to go ahead, go to the bottom of the screen, hit that subscribe button, hit your bell icon as well, so you're all getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So Jaron Boots Ennis finally comes up out of his hiatus outside of tweeting and gives YSM an exclusive interview. As I thought that's the way it would come, being that YSM does have that relationship with that camp, with Boots' camp. Shout out to YSM, by the way, great interview, right on time in my opinion, right? But Boots finally gets an opportunity to address the confusion as to what was actually happening with this whole entire Virgil Ortiz fight at 154, or Boots Ennis staying at 147 pounds. Now, I've already spoken on this before and told you guys pretty much what I thought it was is what it was, right? And Boots Ennis wanted to remain at 147 with aspirations on at least unifying in the division. I mean, he mentions in the interview that, you know, he never really had an opportunity to get a championship. Fight a champion and take a belt from a champion. You know, he had to be upgraded from an interim title holder into a full title holder, being that the IBF went ahead and stripped Terrence Crawford for that IBF title, right? And basically gave it to him almost like an email champion, and that didn't sit well with Boots, which I can definitely understand and resonate with. He said he wanted an opportunity to go ahead and at least unify, if not even do more. He'd like to move up and, you know, become actually an undisputed champion at 147. So that was for his own personal interest, and that's good enough for me, right? As far as the confusion with Turki Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn and Virgil Ortiz and the whole quote-unquote negotiations that was happening and putting the fight together for February 22nd, Riyadh season, basically stating that this was just an offer that was on the table. It was nothing that he ever confirmed or signed or agreed to doing, that there must have been some miscommunication there, right? Because Turki Al-Sheikh did go into his interview with Ariel Wani and Adelaide Adelopo. I hope I said that correctly. I hope I'm not wrecking your name too horribly, Adelaide. It's too much respect for you, right? But still, I digress and say that during that interview, Turki Al-Sheikh expressed that, you know, Boots had pretty much given him his word, confirming it, you know, verbally, that he was in agreement with making that fight. And Boots basically saying there must have been a miscommunication there, obviously, right? Because this is not something he agreed upon. Actually, in all actuality, when he was actually confronted with the opportunity, it wasn't that much time given to him to make a decision one way or the other. Now, as far as the idea of the IBF belt being stripped or vacated, as I stated in the last video I said before on this matter, I said, you know, it's interesting as how people kind of twisted the words, and they're having some fans believe that the IBF would maybe strip Jaron Boots Ennis of his title if you'd have gone up to 154. But I always highlighted that Eddie Hearn was very particular in his words. He didn't say stripped, he said vacate, right? Vacate the belts, right? Or leave the belts, right? Either way, something voluntary, just in the words itself. Words mean everything, right? He wasn't speaking about the IBF stripping him or that he had no ability of competing at 154 to come back down and defend his IBF title. But I believe it was more so what Boots ended up confirming, that moving up in weight from 147 to 154 to compete, he was basically highlighting the fact that it's not as easy as it looks to people for him to come back down in weight. And once they go back up in weight, when you come back down, you're either setting yourself up to get clipped or at least not be the same fighter that you were before you actually made the weight move up to 154. And he highlighted some of the fighters I mentioned in the past that did the same thing and didn't get great results, like Roy Jones, right? Fighters who moved up and down in weight. You usually just want to go up in weight. You don't want to come down in weight, make it a habit of doing that. That's when it becomes a little bit more complicated. I mean, honestly, hence why people kind of like shoot shots a little bit at Gervonta Tank Davis a little bit, and I hate to bring him up in this type of conversation, but just to say, as far as bringing fighters down in weight, why fighters like Rayo Venezuela don't feel comfortable coming from 140 back down to 135 to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis when they've already made their move up to 140. In this case, he became a champion up there, so even less of a reason to come down. Similar reason, right? Jaron Boots Ennis basically not want to be a victim of his own arrogance, of his own ego, to think that he can go up to 154, compete at the highest level up there, and then just nonchalantly return back down to 147 pounds to compete down there, not only at 147 pounds, but under an IBF rehydration clause where he has to stay within 10 pounds of that weight limit, even the morning of the fight, right? Could be complicated. So it all made sense to me. I think the biggest thing, and I hope Boots walks away with this, if it's worth anything to him, it's just the communication, right? Now, he never addressed as far as the tweet he put out there, as far as, maybe Eddie Hearn looking bad on that tweet. But I would say this, that it looks like the communication wasn't clear, right? That at some point or another, Turki Al-Sheikh was either trying to reach out to Boots or to Eddie Hearn and was receiving no response on the calls. It seems like everybody kind of went black, right? Everybody went low and wouldn't answer the phone calls and wouldn't give them the confirmation they needed so that they can confirm and make an official announcement as to what was happening on that February 22nd card that's coming up. By the way, a great card nonetheless, right? But clarity there, but you're still going to have the fans that are just going to push buttons. They're going to poke at the bear, and they're going to say that Boots Ennis is a duck. And the reality is that the fan base really wants to see Jaron Boots Ennis at 154 at this point. And I've always told you guys, I've said the same thing. I was campaigning for Jaron Boots Ennis to come at 154, maybe 6 to 8 months, going on almost a year now, campaigning on this, to the point where a lot of people thought that I was being unfair to Boots, that while I was trying to chase Boots out of the 147-pound division, and why should he have to move himself out of the way of the opportunities that he's earned? And I simply stated that if people don't want to fight you in that division, what can you do? Especially once you become a champion, because once you become a champion, guys, I told you guys, you're removed from all sanction and body rankings. You no longer can call out for mandatories or things of that nature. Champions can easily skate over you and not fight you. So how long do you stay in a weight class to where you're pretty much damn near the biggest 147-pounder in that weight class, restricting yourself like that to stay at 147 pounds when your body would probably feel way better at 154, combining that, like I said before, with all the opportunities at 154, with Turki Al-Sheikh offering you your largest paydays, the amount of activity, the legacy up there as far as Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Jermell Charlo, who I'm hearing rumors is coming out of his hiatus as well and should be back on the back into space competing at a championship level in that division. The fans now want to see it, and I can honestly say that you probably teased the boxing space a little bit. They really thought they finally got Boots Ennis at 154, and everybody got really excited to hear that the last minute, according to how the fans see it, that you might have moved out of that direction and went back to 147 to fight people that a lot of people aren't really interested about or concerned about, right? But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because Boots Ennis is his own person. He's the one in the ring taking the shots, taking the punches, giving the punches, putting his life on the line. He should definitely be in there and at least be able to accomplish some legacy for himself. We'll all be watching either way, right? We'll be lying if we say we're going to do anything different. I would say this, though: if Boots Ennis is not able to unify, or he's not able to, his next fight I'm speaking on too as well, on his next fight he's not able to unify, then it is going to look bad for Boots. People are going to looking him funny, and they're going to look at Eddie Hearn even worse, right? Because there's a lot of time being wasted, and at this point, at Boots' age, he's about ready to start achieving some sort of legacy. He should be in some title contention somewhere at this point, and if he's not, it's a damn shame. So we'll be watching closely. I think I saw Eddie Hearn do an interview recently, if not yesterday, maybe even this morning, speaking on in the next few weeks, we should hear an announcement about who Jaron Boots will be fighting next, and that the announcement will make everything make sense. That the person who'll be fighting, and I'm assuming it'll be a unification title fight that he'll be fighting, will make everything worthwhile, and everything will make more sense then. And obviously, we'll be keeping our eyes on the situation. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Are we okay now? Are we in understanding? If Boots is going to unify at 147, does that make sense? And does that hold well with you guys as to why he would stay at 147? Are we ready to continue to support Boots Ennis and see him compete at a high level and get his legacy in order before he goes to 154? Or is the consensus pretty much the same, that we look at it as a ducked opportunity? Virgil Ortiz was there, the money was there, legacy was at 154, and we're pretty much tired of taking any more excuses as far as why Boots is not pushing himself to compete against the highest level of competition available to him, right? Me personally, I'm okay with him being at 147. I think it's totally okay for him to be down there and chasing legacy. I just don't want him down there wasting his time. So if he is going to be at 147, I do need to see him in some unification title fights. If that's not what's happening, then we're back at square one, aren't we? At some point, rubber has to meet the road. Something has to start making sense for Jaron Boots, and his time waits for no man. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is that ATP Combat Media Show. Again, salute to all my subscribers, everybody who's supporting this channel. So much love, much respect. Thank you to you guys. If this is your first time tapping into the content, I'm going to invite you, like I did in the beginning of the video, to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit your bell icons as well so you are getting alerts when that content is dropping. But at this point, we out.